On my daughter's birthday, Zian brought home a little boy. His adopted sister followed timidly behind and spoke hesitantly. The paternity test shows Jake is indeed Zian's child. That night, it really was him. Zian sighed helplessly. That night I was drunk and mistook Iris for you, a terrible mistake. But the child is innocent. I've already missed 5 years of Jake's growth. He's my biological son. You wouldn't want my flesh and blood to be cast aside, would you? 5 years? But my daughter just turned 4. I sneered coldly, and then? What are you trying to say? Jake can't grow up without a father. From now on, I'll spend Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with Jake, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays with Anne, and Sundays I'll take both kids out together so they can bond as siblings. I nodded faintly, calmly taking out the marriage certificate and tearing it to pieces. There's nothing left to say. Divorce. The child stays with me. Zian laughed as if hearing a joke. Where could you possibly go without me? Enough with the theatrics. Then he wrapped his arm around Iris and walked away. What he didn't know was that the man had returned to the country today. It was time to fulfill our promise. Our daughter tugged at Zian's sleeve, desperately holding back large teardrops from falling. Daddy, today's my birthday. Zian frowned, pulling a signing pen from his suit pocket and tossing it carelessly onto the table. You're grown up now, what do you need birthday gifts for? Here's a pen. Study hard. With that, he left without looking back. But my eyes suddenly caught the luxury watch on Jake's wrist, the very one Zian had won by raising the sky lantern at that auction. I'd originally thought it was a gift for our daughter, but he'd denied it. It's for a friend's child. Looking at my daughter's aggrieved little face, my heart ached unbearably. Holding her gently, I comforted her. It's okay, and Daddy was just too busy with work and forgot. Shall we cut the cake? My daughter sobbed. Daddy has a new child now. He doesn't love me anymore. My tightly held composure suddenly shattered. No matter how carefree I appeared on the surface, the betrayal of a 10-year relationship left me utterly defeated. After wiping away my tears, my phone rang. Zian had posted dozens of photos in the family group chat. He and Iris were each kissing Jake on the cheek. Anyone unaware would think they were a happy family of 3. I remembered how Zian had taken down our family portraits and wedding photos at home, claiming they didn't match the decor. It felt as though countless hands were squeezing my heart, leaving my chest heavy and suffocated. Then Iris sent me a private photo. In the photo, she and Zian were pressed together bare-chested. Countless crimson marks covered their bodies. With 2 minutes left to recall the message, she typed, "Sorry Sable, I sent it to the wrong person." You didn't see it, right? I took a deep breath, unable to swallow my anger, already screenshotted and sent to the family group chat. Then I turned off my phone. Within 20 minutes, Zian kicked the door open, roaring furiously, "Sable, what the hell? Sending those photos to the group, how do you think the family will see Iris now?" I glared at him coldly. What's wrong? You dare to sleep with your adopted sister but can't own up to it? He suddenly fell silent. It was just a mistake. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? What man hasn't messed up before? Then he tugged impatiently at his tie. Take care of Jake. I'm taking Iris to get her nails done. As he finished speaking, Iris, who had been hiding outside the door, led the child in, pouting and whining. Hurry up, Zian, that nail salon gets so crowded. Zian shoved Jake in front of me, tossed out the words, "If anything happens to my son, you're dead," and turned to leave. Staring at this face that bore a 50% resemblance to Zian's, I felt a wave of nausea. But I had promised my daughter a trip to the amusement park, so with no other choice, I took both kids along. While waiting in line, I bought them each an ice cream. Just as I was about to book our entry, I looked up and saw Iris, who was supposed to be getting a manicure, nestled against Zian's shoulder. The two of them emerged from a hotel across the street. My throat tightened, and I let out a bitter laugh. Just then, a sharp cry pierced the air. Jake's face was smeared with ice cream, tears streaming down in a sticky mess. Hearing the commotion, Zian turned his head. The moment he saw Jake in that state, he charged straight toward me, heedless of the bustling traffic. With a loud smack, his palm landed heavily on my face, leaving a rapidly swelling red mark. "I entrusted my child to you, and this is how you take care of him?" Before I could explain, Jake burst into loud sobs, "Daddy!" and tried to steal my ice cream. When I wouldn't let her, she smeared it all over my face. Iris's heart shattered upon hearing this. With tears streaming down her face, she knelt at my feet and kowtowed, "Sable, no matter how you bullied me before, I've accepted it all. But can you at least not let and bully Jake? He's Zian's biological son too." Tears have trickled down my daughter's face as she pleaded, "I didn't, he did it himself." "Enough." Zian's furious roar made her flinch. Pointing at her nose, he said coldly, "And, when did you learn to lie?" Then he turned to glare at me with a frown, "Look at what your precious daughter has become, shirking responsibility and shifting blame. What kind of mother are you? Raising a child like this?" My daughter was holding my hand with one hand and her ice cream with the other. There was no way she could have had a free hand to harm Jake. Besides, I know her, and has always been well-behaved and obedient, never the one to stir up trouble. Yet Zian didn't even ask and slapped me right away, siding with Jake without any reason. It suddenly occurred to me how he used to favor Iris the same way. When Iris fell, he rushed over and angrily demanded why I pushed her. When Iris wanted a bag, he forced me to give up an entire walk-in closet. When Iris sneezed, he abandoned me, hospitalized and sick, to take her to the hospital. Out of love, I endured it countless times, believing he would eventually love me, until he brought home a son he had with another woman. Suddenly, I was exhausted. I couldn't even bother to explain and coldly left with our daughter. "Sable! Where are you going? Get back here and apologize to Jake." I paused. "Zian, why should I always be the one to apologize? You can investigate the truth yourself." Just then, my phone rang with a text notification. "I'm back in the country. Can we meet?" I froze, ignoring the scolding behind me, and after dropping my daughter off at kindergarten, I headed to the cafe. Upon arriving, a tall figure enveloped me. Ray's eyes were red at the corners as he looked at me, his voice carrying a barely perceptible note of grievance. "We agreed back then, if after 10 years you still hadn't found someone you liked, you'd accept my pursuit. Now I've come to fulfill that promise." I pressed my lips together, but as I turned, I met Zian's gaze. He stiffened slightly, and upon noticing the somewhat intimate distance between Ray and me, his brows furrowed tightly. His hand clenched harder around Iris's ample curves. Iris flushed, breathing softly against the man's ear. My heart ached faintly as I looked into Ray's eyes and nodded gently. "Okay." He seemed incredulous, elated like a child. "Sable? You're saying yes? After all these years of loving you, you finally agreed. You'd actually take my worn-out slippers, Ray? Haven't seen you in years, but your standards have really dropped." The voice carried barely concealed fury as Zian curled his lips in mockery. "Do you even know how many moles she has on her body? Do you know how she moaned beneath me? Ray, Sable only accepted you to spite me. Back then she was madly in love with me. Do you believe her empty promises or our marriage certificate?" My head snapped up as I stared at him in disbelief. Even with my heart already turned to ashes, hearing such vicious slander felt like having a chunk of flesh gouged from my chest. Ray had always outshone Zian since their school days. Perhaps even Zian himself hadn't realized how he lost all reason whenever he saw me with Ray. Ray's face darkened instantly, ready to explode, until I grabbed his sleeve. I forced myself to curl my lips in a mocking smile, refusing to show even a hint of vulnerability. "Zian, the moment you brought Jake home, it was over between us. Let's find a time to get divorced." Just as Zian was about to mock me for using reverse psychology again, his phone suddenly rang. At the same time, I received a call from my daughter's teacher, and my expression changed drastically. When I rushed to the school, I saw my daughter clutching her torn dress, her face smeared with dirt, silently shedding tears. Something inside me snapped. Ever since my daughter was born, I had protected her fiercely, never letting her suffer the slightest grievance. She was my only weakness. I ran over and hugged her tightly, tears streaming uncontrollably. And, sweetheart, who hurt you? Tell mommy. My daughter burst into loud sobs, each word piercing my heart like a needle. It felt like bleeding. The boy said I don't have a daddy, and he took the doll daddy gave me. When I tried to get it back, he suddenly sat on the ground crying. The teacher said I was a bad kid and had to be punished. Big brother also said I'm a bastard child. Mom, what's a bastard child? Shut up. How dare you slander Jake? Do you know who his father is? My daughter's teacher looked at me sideways and said sarcastically, so you're Anne's mother? Can you discipline your daughter properly and stop her from taking other people's things? Stealing a doll is one thing, but now she wants to steal someone else's father? Only then did I realize Zian had arranged for Jake to attend this kindergarten. A surge of rage erupted within me. I rushed over and grabbed her wrist tightly, grinding my teeth as I said, the Jake you're talking about is actually... Before I could finish, a tremendous force shoved me. My forehead hit the corner of the table, leaving a large bruise. Sable, and has become this kind of person because you spoiled her. How dare she bully my son? What excuse do you have left? Iris looked apologetic. I'm sorry, teacher, for causing you trouble. His father and I are usually busy with work, so we really appreciate your care. The teacher immediately waved her hand with an ingratiating smile. What are you saying, madam? You and Mr. Zian are so devoted, attending all those banquets together, you must be swamped. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Jake. Madam? I stared straight at Zian, who avoided my gaze, as if he hadn't heard the address, or as if he tacitly accepted it. He held Jake in his arms, heartbroken, patting his back and murmuring comfort, be good, Jake. Don't be scared. Daddy's here now. No one can bully you anymore. My daughter stretched out her arms, gazing enviously at Jake. Daddy, can you hold on too? Daddy? The teacher shot me a disdainful glance. But Zian remained calm, not even sparing a look for my daughter. Suppressing the endless bitterness in my heart, I looked at him with difficulty. Zian, tell me, who is your true daughter? Who is the one listed as your child in the household registry? Zian remained silent for a long moment before chuckling lightly. Back then, you climbed into my bed, went to great lengths to have a child, trying to replace Iris's position. I've already paid child support, enough for you and your daughter to live comfortably for the rest of your lives. Why must you push so aggressively for a title? The crowd burst into laughter. Jake stuck his tongue out at his daughter triumphantly, while the teacher couldn't help rolling her eyes. A fake will always be a fake, it can never become real. Something seemed to explode in my mind, piercing my eardrums. The air around me felt sucked away, leaving me gasping for breath. Memories flooded in like a tide. Zian remembered my menstrual cycle. On those days, he would personally brew brown sugar water for me. He remembered every relative's birthday, every holiday. Before his business trips, he would personally prepare meals, dividing them into 3 daily portions to store in the fridge, then helplessly yet dotingly pat my head, order less takeout, it's not good to eat too much. He never let the housekeeper handle my things, everything concerning me, he always took care of himself. In a daze, I seemed to see a young man running toward me, shyly extending his hand. Zian from Finance Class 1, may I get to know you? We loved each other for many years, and I thought we could be together forever. Yet he had actually cheated long before our daughter was born. And he brazenly brought her home, publicly denying his wife and child. My eyes grew slightly moist as I took a deep breath. Smiling at Zian, I said, as you wish. Then I turned and walked away with our daughter. Before long, hurried footsteps sounded behind me. Zian grabbed my arm and forcibly turned me around. Enough, what I said earlier was just anger talking. Who told you to get so close with Ray? Besides, Jake has just been recognized and is emotionally sensitive. I need to give him enough security. So you disregard Anne's hurt feelings? I looked at him sarcastically. Zian was struck by my words and impatiently adjusted his sleeves. Don't push your luck. Haven't I given her enough love these years? What do I owe you? But what about Jake and Iris? What have they gotten? Is it really necessary for you to make such a big deal out of this? I abruptly broke free from him. The one who cheated somehow has all the reasons. I couldn't be bothered to argue further and hailed a taxi straight home. Once there, I packed my clothes into a suitcase. I couldn't stand staying in this disgusting place for another second. I had originally planned to gradually break the news to my daughter about leaving, moving out and transferring schools in a couple of days. But since Zian has already denied her identity, I won't let Anne suffer any more humiliation. Ada was pacing anxiously and couldn't help advising, Madam, lovers' quarrels are soon mended. No marriage is ever smooth sailing. Don't act on impulse. Zian, who had rushed home, snorted upon hearing this, don't bother with her. She's always been jealous of Iris. Every time she throws a tantrum, she comes crawling back like a dog anyway. He then lit a cigarette and leisurely blew out smoke rings. Sable, keep packing. Let's see how long you can hold out this time. I remained silent, quietly packing my luggage. The moment I walked out holding my daughter's hand, a loud slam echoed behind me, completely severing my connection with Zian. 2 hours later, Zian twirled his wedding ring idly and ordered, open the door. Let Sable crawl back in. Every time before this, she'd sit crying at the doorstep waiting for me to coax her back. Always throwing these spoiled princess tantrums, does she really think everyone has nothing better to do? Ada gave him a strange look and hesitated before saying, Madam, she's already left. She got into a Rolls-Royce 2 hours ago. Zian froze for several seconds, cigarette ash falling to the ground. Instead of getting angry, he laughed. Ray, has he really gotten mixed up with him? Fine, let's see how long Sable can hold out. At the Nanchon Villa. Ray had hundreds of haute couture dresses delivered for me to choose from, his eyes brimming with tenderness. Sable, will you accompany me to tomorrow night's charity auction? Thinking that keeping busy might help me forget those unpleasant matters, I agreed. Ray's family has always been passionate about charity. For any exhibit I glanced at twice, he would immediately light up the auction paddle to secure it. At the auction, everyone marveled at how Mr. Ray, who was usually untouchable, splurged extravagantly for a woman. One after another, luxurious jewels were claimed, and the crowd wisely refrained from competing with Ray's financial might, until the final item appeared. The host teased with meaningful emphasis, this auction item is truly extraordinary. His gaze swept over me, sending an inexplicable chill down my spine. The moment the curtain was lifted, the room erupted in uproar. Inside the glass case was unmistakably a woman's intimate clothing. My pupils dilated in shock. When I left, I deliberately took nothing Zian had bought, precisely to sever all ties with him. Yet I never imagined he would send my intimate garments to an auction, catering to the twisted tastes of the elite. Beside me, Ray frowned tightly, clearly unaware it was mine, and thus did not bid. Around us, one after another, people excitedly raised their paddles. I thought this auction was monopolized by JS, but who knew it'd end with such a thrilling surprise? Look at that high-quality material, probably belongs to some rich man's mistress, getting revenge from the wife. Who cares? I'm into this kind of stuff, probably smells amazing, already got my blood pumping. Ray glanced at them with displeasure, then turned to see my pale face, immediately filled with concern. Sable, are you feeling unwell? I slightly opened my mouth, but the word stuck in my throat, unable to utter a single syllable. My hands gripped the seat tightly, wanting to pull out my phone and confront Zian. The next second, the host on stage dropped another bombshell. By the way, there's a buy one get one free deal. The curtain was lifted, revealing a little girl's nightgown lying quietly on the stage. The heated discussions abruptly ceased as everyone exchanged glances, their eyes filled with shock. But then someone raised a paddle and shouted, "Light the sky lantern." My legs went weak, and fury surged from the soles of my feet to the top of my head, making my heart pound wildly. My gaze swept backward, locking onto Iris's look in the last row, and Zian's indifferent glance. I choked back hot tears and rushed toward them, snatching up the red wine and splashing it across Zian's face. "Are you even human? Sending your own daughter's clothes to be auctioned off for public defilement. And is only 4. All eyes in the room instantly focused on me. Someone murmured, "Isn't that Zian's wife? How did she become Mr. Ray's woman?" "What wife? She's clearly the mistress who stole the nest." Everyone knows Mr. Zian and Miss Iris grew up together. Who would have thought someone with ulterior motives would intercept their relationship? Zian leisurely wiped away the wine and looked up at me. "What? Was the 50 million alimony not enough for you? Must you make a scene in front of my wife?" Iris sniffled with a reddened nose, her voice trembling with grievance. "Back then, you drugged Zian and climbed into his bed, forcing him to marry you. But you didn't know, I was already carrying his child. All these years, Jake has never seen his father. It's you who tore our family apart." The words instantly ignited the onlookers. Who would have thought Sable was such a loose woman? She schemed her way into marrying Zian, and now she's clinging to Mr. Ray. She won't let go of any wealthy family, will she? Thank goodness Mr. Zian acknowledged Jake and dumped Sable. Otherwise, how much more suffering would Iris and her son have endured? The torrent of accusations crashed over me like a tidal wave. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a glass hurling toward me. Too late to dodge, I instinctively shut my eyes, but the expected pain never came. Instead, I found myself enveloped in a warm embrace. Ray blocked the glass with his bare hand, coldly scanning the circle of people. Tired of living? The crowd instantly fell silent. Someone dared to speak up. "Mr. Ray, don't be fooled by this woman. The person I've loved for over a decade, you think you can slander her with your words?" He then turned to look at Zian, his gaze icy enough to freeze hell. "The one you don't cherish, someone else treasures like a jewel." I took a deep breath and spoke word by word, "Since you despise me and so much, then sign the divorce papers. You claim to hate us, yet cling to this marriage. Zian, you're such a hypocrite." Zian stared fixedly at Ray's arm around my waist, his face darkening. Then he chuckled lightly and tossed out a marriage certificate. "Open your eyes wide, who the hell ever married you?" A flicker of doubt crossed my mind as I opened the marriage certificate, only to find Iris's photo staring back at me. The date was a full year before Zian and I had married. Oh my God, Mr. Zian never married Sable after all. I knew it. How could someone like him have fallen for her marriage scam? Mr. Zian is truly brilliant, seeing right through Sable's gold-digging scheme and turning the tables on her. No wonder he's a titan of the business world. This is hilarious. Sable kept filing for divorce over and over, but she was the one being played all along. What a clown. I stood frozen in place, flashes of our wedding day replaying in my mind. Zian tenderly placing the veil over my head. Reciting the vows with loud, unwavering conviction. The tears brimming in his eyes as we pressed our fingerprints onto the certificate. So, was it all fake? A sham marriage, a forged certificate, fabricated love. Then why did he pursue me? Why did he marry me? My mind went blank as Ray wrapped an arm around me and hurried us away, barking orders to his assistant. Seal all information leaks. Not a word about today's incident must get out, especially keep those gossipy journalists and entertainment tabloids in check. Don't let them smear Sable's reputation. Also, compile a list of everyone who slandered Sable. Terminate all JS collaborations with them, withdraw investments, and initiate mergers or acquisitions. I remained stiff in Ray's embrace. Though I'd grown disillusioned with this marriage, I never imagined it had been fake from the very beginning. No wonder he never filed for divorce, they were never actually married in the first place. Inside the venue, the host stood awkwardly on stage, uncertain whether to proceed with the event. Zian waved his hand, ordering the exhibition pieces to be removed. With an icy expression, he commanded, "Investigate thoroughly who swapped the final exhibit." His gaze drifted faintly past Iris as he added, "Once we find out, no matter who it is, they won't escape consequences." Iris's face paled as she forced a smile and hooked her arm through his. "Zian, we should head back. Jake's been missing you." Uncharacteristically, Zian ignored her, staring in the direction I'd left while murmuring, "Do you think she might really hate me now?" Silence filled the entire ride. Exhausted, I slumped against the car window, utterly despondent, laughing bitterly at myself. "Ray, I feel like I've become a complete joke." He spoke softly, his voice laced with heartache. "You just misjudged someone, that doesn't make you wrong. Sable, pull yourself together. I'll walk the road ahead with you." The car pulled up at the villa entrance where Percy paced anxiously. Spotting us, he wiped his brow frantically. "Mr. Ray, Sable, and she," my heart skipped a beat as I bolted upright. "What's wrong with Anne?" He was perfectly fine during dinner, then vanished in the blink of an eye. "We've searched the entire villa complex but couldn't find him. We've already dispatched people to search the entire city." Ray erupted in fury, "Useless fools. So many of you couldn't keep watch over one child. Did all my repeated warnings before leaving go into pig brains?" Percy shuddered and dropped to his knees, trembling all over. I frantically checked the location on my phone, and smartwatch was synced with my device. But the GPS showed her still in the villa. Just then, a nanny came stumbling toward us. "The watch is in the room, but she's gone." Panic set in immediately, and I clutched my sleeves with tearful desperation. "Question every single person in the villa, pull up all the city's surveillance footage, we must find and at all costs." No sooner had he spoken than Percy suddenly looked up. "Mr. Ray," he said, "I just remembered, this afternoon, Lita abruptly resigned." When I asked her why, she just stammered something about needing to return home to take care of her mother. The Ray family's servants enjoyed excellent treatment, and it was rare for anyone to resign voluntarily, especially those who had served for decades. Moreover, Lita had only been hired yesterday, resigning after just one day was highly suspicious. Ray coldly ordered a thorough investigation into Lita and reassuringly patted my shoulder. "Don't worry," he said. "With our family's influence, we'll find and soon." But I clenched my fists tightly. Yesterday, I had accidentally come across her records and noticed she had previously worked for XS Group. Something had felt off at the time, but I hadn't had the chance to tell Ray yet. A wave of regret washed over me. "Ray, I'm going to find Zian. Don't worry, I'll handle this. You've already helped me enough, this time, I need to face it myself." In the old house, Ella cradled Jake, her face blooming with joy. "My sweetheart. You're the spitting image of your father. Thank goodness I never agreed to let you and Sable actually marry, otherwise, my Jake would have been a bastard." "Oh, my precious darling." The scene was one of pure delight. Suddenly, the front door slammed open, and a figure tumbled in, shrouded in the night. Everyone froze in shock. Zian looked up, startled at the sight of me. "Give me back my child," I said. He frowned. "What child?" "Stop acting, Zian. You sent Lita to sneak into Ray's house just to kidnap and then get back at me. I warn you, don't underestimate a mother's ruthlessness." I grabbed a fruit knife and confronted him, but Zian tried to wrestle it away, gripping the handle with his hand. "Sable, don't be crazy, don't hurt yourself by mistake." "What Lita? Who the hell is Lita? I don't even know her." "Stop pretending. I can let go of everything in the past, but if you dare lay a finger on my daughter, I'll go all out and take your whole family down with me." Ella was furious and raised her cane to strike me. "Sable, you're with Ray now, yet you dare come to my house and cause trouble? Do you think I'm dead? Someone, drag this woman to the basement." In the blink of an eye, Zian suddenly stepped in front of me, taking the full force of the blow. Gritting his teeth, he let out a muffled groan and said, "Grandma, please don't be angry yet." Sable wouldn't have come here without a reason, she must have her own difficulties. Ella was incredulous. You're still defending her at a time like this? For years, Iris has been your lawfully wedded wife, yet you've always publicly declared Sable as your partner, leaving Jake to grow up without a father's presence. Zian, have you lost your mind? Zian suddenly frowned impatiently. Grandma, this is my own business. Oh, so you think you're all grown up now, is that it? Don't forget, the successor to the group hasn't been decided yet. Zian, you're not a child anymore, recklessness isn't like you. I forced down my turbulent emotions, striving to remain calm. I'm not here to cling to your family. I just want my daughter back. Zian, your former employee kidnapped my daughter. How can you claim this has nothing to do with you? No sooner had the words been spoken than footsteps echoed from behind. We found her. Ray shoved Zian aside. Stay away from Sable. The bodyguards dragged forward a woman, her face streaked with tears as she begged for mercy. Mr. Ray, please spare me. It was all Iris's doing. She forced me to sell and into the slums as a child bride. She threatened my father's life. None of this was my idea. My mind exploded. Completely shattered, I grabbed Iris by the hair and slapped her to the ground. The woman shrieked in agony, Zian, save me. It hurts. Zian stood frozen like an ice sculpture, his fingers trembling. Is what she said true? Ray sneered and tossed out a videotape. The footage clearly showed Iris and Lita. In the cafe, Iris stirred her spoon, her beautiful eyes flashing with venom. When the time comes, just lure into the window. I'll have people ready to take her. You don't need to worry about the rest. She's still so young. Shut up. If I remember correctly, your father has medical bills due this month, doesn't he? And is Zian's only child. If we kill her, even if it's discovered later that Jake isn't Zian's biological son, Jake can still inherit the family fortune. As the video finished playing, Iris turned deathly pale and shrank back in fear. Zian's pupils dilated as he stared at her in disbelief. Jake wasn't his child after all. And he had done so many things to hurt his own biological daughter just to make up for Jake. Just then, the assistant rushed in. Mr. Zian, we've investigated the matter. It was Miss Iris's secretary who replaced the exhibit the day before the auction. This revelation sent shockwaves through the room. Seeing her scheme exposed, Iris decided to throw caution to the wind. Yes, it was me. Zian and I grew up together. Officially I was his adopted sister, but everyone in town knew I was meant to marry him. How could it be fair that after just one university semester, Zian fell in love with you? Sable, how is that fair to me? Shut up. Zian roared in fury. Iris, how dare you deceive me? You fucking dared to lie to me. Iris laughed bitterly through her tears, because I love you. That night when you were drunk, I stood naked before you, and you didn't even react, you just kept calling Sable's name. I had no choice. I had to do this. I had no time to listen to their argument, all I wanted was to find and quickly. Ray took me in the car and sped off. Fortunately, the people Percy sent intercepted that vehicle at top speed. The moment I saw and, bound and unconscious in the trunk, my heart felt torn apart. Tears gushed out. Just a little more, and I would have lost my daughter forever. I rushed to the hospital holding my daughter. After the examination, the doctor said there wasn't any major problem, she just needed an 4 drip for nutritional support to regulate her physical and mental health. Only then did I relax, stepping out to fetch hot water for Anne. That's when I caught sight of a familiar figure. Zian covered his face with both hands, shoulders trembling uncontrollably as tears streamed through his fingers. I pretended not to see, but he grabbed my wrist. The man spoke through choked sobs. Sable, I truly didn't know. All those things were done by Iris. The one I've always loved is you. Back then, when Grandma found out she was pregnant with my son, she threatened me into marrying her by using the heir as leverage. I wanted to give you a better life, so I had to become the heir of excess group. But believe me, it's you I love. That's why I kept it from you, planning to divorce her after taking over excess. Later, Grandma couldn't bear Jake living in the shadows any longer and forced me to acknowledge him. That's why I brought him home that day. I pushed him away, my gaze icy. Yet you still couldn't resist Iris's temptation. Zian, the truth is you don't love anyone. You're just a bastard controlled by possessiveness and your lower half. That's not true. Sable. I only ever felt guilt toward her before. Later, when I saw you getting close to Ray, I acted impulsively and hurt you. Now I realize I was deceived by Iris. Sable, I'm a victim too. I refused to look at him again, belated affection was as worthless as weeds. I don't believe you never had any feelings for me. I nodded with a faint smile. Zian, hating someone still requires investing emotion in them. So I don't love you, nor do I hate you. Let's be strangers from now on. Indifference is the best way to truly let someone go. The day I married Ray, the sun blazed brilliantly in a cloudless sky. All the city's elite and dignitaries came to offer their congratulations. But during the evening banquet, someone accidentally let slip, did you hear? Iris was suddenly in a car accident yesterday, died horribly, poor thing. Yes, and Mr. Zian even gave up inheriting the conglomerate to become a monk at some temple. I stood with my back to them, my heart utterly unmoved. Then Percy brought me a package addressed in my name. I opened it. Inside lay a diamond-encrusted crown and a card that read, "Happiness in this life, peace in the next." I recognized the handwriting. Back in university, Zian had attended every class with me, copying notes for me while I sat beside him, gazing at him with starry eyes. "Throw it away," I said. Percy nodded. Hearing the commotion, Ray walked over. "What's wrong?" I shook my head with a smile. "It's nothing, just some irrelevant trash that Percy tossed away for me." Later on, I never had another child, pouring all my love into and instead. Ray agreed, "Childbirth is hard on the body, I couldn't bear to see you go through that again." We traveled the world with and never mentioned Zian again. He had become just a passerby in my life. Knowing when to cut losses takes courage, but it makes room for someone more deserving in the future.